The boys in Windwalkers have dropped their brand new 6-song EP, I Don't Belong Here.
Tell me what you knew. The world was just so cruel to you. Well, it's hereditary. Sick of forcing smiles, never looking back.
And I need to reiterate, as I said in the Gore EP, 4 of my 5 most played songs of the month come from these 2 EPs. Hereditary and Funeral Balloons, my god. Some of the best songs that I've heard all month, let alone all year.
Dude, that switch up in Hereditary.
It's so... Oh, dude.
Cinema.
I have the lyrics written down for that. Just give me a moment. So sick of calling out and never hearing back. Sometimes it's easier to run and not react. That's a fact. But there was nothing I could do. Tell me what you knew. The world was just so cruel to you. Well, it's Hereditary. It's so good. It's so good. Trevor is so talented. It's unfair.
This is like sort of in the same vein as Gore. The like theme of toxic relationships on this it's another one of those instances where even if the sound is different, like the way that it gets written about, you can tell that whoever was involved in the writing process got hurt by somebody, and they lived this and they experienced this, and the delivery accordingly, I assume Trevor at some point was dealing with this and involved in the writing process, because he delivers it so well. There's so much emotion on this EP while still having such varied instrumentation. It's insane. It's a masterclass.
This is like one of the few projects that I'll say I really, really like the verses compared to the chorus. The choruses are very good hooks, but I really think the verses, especially in Funeral Balloons and Hereditary, they grab you in a way that keep you interested in the song. I feel like Funeral Balloons, I feel like the chorus is different enough from the verse to still keep it pretty different and like pretty engaging.
No, absolutely. And while we're talking about Funeral Balloons, there was one moment, I believe it's in the bridge or like kind of the breakdown aspect of it, where they like tune down the bass, but the lead, like the guitar lead, gets up-tuned. So it's like it's directly tied to like the concept of Funeral Balloons, where it's like, oh well, this is a sad thing, but we've got balloons because we're happy that this is done, like the death of this relationship. And so it creates this tone of, oh yeah, here's this really somber setting, but here are these little happy guitar lead balloons while we're at the funeral. It's one of the more creative pieces of instrumentation in terms of theme of a song that I've heard in a long time. When I heard that, I was like, wow, okay, they really pulled out all the stops to make this EP, and it shows.
I also want to just take a moment to notice, we've talked about more electronics, always good. Almost like EDM song structure of the build is the chorus of like, and then I'm better off with you gone, and then it kind of just the instrumentation, the drop is like kind of the melody more so than the actual words being sung.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is awesome. And then Silk and Static, we talked about it as a single last month. But the electronics in that song, oh my god, dude. It's it's unreal. And it's criminal that Silk and Static, I think, is my least played song on this EP, just by the nature of it releasing when it did. But like, it is probably my third favorite song on this EP. Like, even with how little I've listened to it, it is instantly recognizable.
Jacob, I know you skipped. I think you at least skipped Silk and Static. What did you think of the EP?
I think it's a step down from the album, from their previous album.
I can.
That's a fair take.
That. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with it, but I think it's a fair take.
Yeah.
I think the instrumentation is a step up, like wholeheartedly. I think them incorporating more electronics, I think, works for them.
So why would you say it's a step down for you, Jacob? Like what's missing here that was present on the album? Which I now see you have in the background.
Signed right there. I feel like it might be because I haven't given it enough time, honestly. Because I thought this was a good EP, but it wasn't like great like the album, like the previous album was. And I think it might be it might be just like heaviness, honestly. Like there's not a lot of heavy moments on here. I think I like the diversity of the album, and just I don't know. I haven't given this a lot of time. Again, and I don't think it's a bad EP. I feel like I'm painting it as a picture like it's a bad EP. I enjoyed this EP. I just need more time with it, I think.
Yeah,
I do think that's a fair criticism, though. That it's not as heavy.
It makes a little bit more sense, especially if you look back to What If I Break. That had like 12 or so songs to like really diversify itself, and you kind of get a little bit of a similar structure in some of these songs. They really change it up with the instrumentation, which is why I think this is like instrumentally some of their best work. But I can kind of see both sides of it.
Well, I also, for me, this album paints a much more cohesive and clearer story and narrative than I think What If I Break did. Like What If I Break, in my opinion, I don't think that was necessarily like a concept album or
no.
It was thematic in a way, but not as clearly defined as this EP is. And because of that, I think that contributes to how like cohesive the sound is. Like there's the instrumental switch up in Hereditary, and bring in the saxophone at times, and it's great instrumentally. I agree with Justin, that's a step up, but it definitely is a bit more samey, quote unquote, as a whole than the album was. So I totally get what you're.
I think one of the songs on What If I Break is about The Shining. So I don't think the whole thing's about The Shining, but yeah. So you're right on that. Definitely more cohesion in this, but
I had only heard The End Aesthetic and Eating My Heart Out as singles coming into this, and I'm glad I waited for Silk and Static in particular. But I enjoyed The End Aesthetic a lot as a single, but I wasn't feeling Eating My Heart Out as much. And I think that in the context of the EP, both singles work better than when they were released standalone.
I agree.
Just by nature of the songs.
With that being said, if we're like what I was saying with Gore, 4-song EP, like there is no fat there. I would argue that you could cut Sink Into Me and Eating My Heart Out.
Don't say it. Nope. Incorrect.
That is your argument has been rejected by the court, and we find you guilty, and you will get the brazen bull.
I think Sink Into Me is perfect. That like a perfect separation in the EP. While yes, it's not as replayable as like the other songs, I think if you listen to it front to back like it should be listened to, I think it works well. And I think
it works. I just think if we're talking about like, did this need to be a 6-song EP, or could it have been fine as just a 5-song EP? But in that same note, though, I look at the track list of Hereditary, The End Aesthetic, Funeral Balloon, Silk and Static, and I'm like, that probably feels a little short and feels like it needs to be developed more. And then, I'd Sink Into Me and Eating My Heart Out, and it feels more well-rounded, more developed. I just, Sing Into Me and Eating My Heart Out are just like a clear step down from. I do.
It's when they get acoustic that Jake starts to have a problem.
Yeah.
It's when they get acoustic. Like, What If I Break, the title track from the last album? That's a slower song, and I really like that song.
I will counter.
You talking about the Bends?
Oh, yeah, the Bends. I forgot it was called the Bends.
I was about to say, I don't know which song you're talking about.
Yeah, I just remember the lyric. My bad.
I think there's a story here, and I think that you lose parts of that story by cutting anything, whereas you don't gain anything. Like you don't. Yeah, it's shorter, but then I feel like you miss out on the point of this EP, or at the very least, the story that it has to tell. And I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I feel like it's compelling enough to justify that like longer EP run length, just because it has something to say. if it was an EP from, I don't know, Memphis Mayfire, sorry, I had to pull it from your hat. But like, that's a band where they don't really have much to say a lot of the time. Or if they do, it's the same thing over and over again. And there's nothing compelling, in my opinion, to bring you back to that sort of EP. Whereas with this, it's okay, I've got some playlistable songs and I've got something that I want to like get invested in. And it might just be because I relate to the CP a bit at times. But it made me want to get invested into it and re-listen to it. And then every time I'm into it, I'm also thinking, wow, these guys are so talented. Just over and over again. I mean, holy balls.
Guys, they are at 1.3 monthly listeners million. 1.3 million.
1.3.
Sorry,
Justin and my legs.
Sorry, my brain read monthly listeners and forgot the million in there. I remember when we were talking about them, they were at 800,000 when What If I Break dropped.
Oh, wow. Dude.
That is wild.
The boys have absolutely deserved all the growth that they're getting. I really need to get my tickets to see them with Currents and Invent Animate.
I still have never seen them. So
me either.
Come on.
Criminal.
Oh yeah.
I've seen them 3 times.
Just
I remember
next time
one of these guys.
I need to. I have my copy. I should get it signed.
I went to their first show and they co-headlined with Varsity. That was fun.
Had that tour not been in Connecticut on Father's Day, I am there.
It was so
just
good.
take your dad.
I tried to convince him. I lost that argument.
Next time they're in town, Justin, we will go.
Yeah.
By in town, I mean you have to drive here because I hate driving to Virginia Beach, Norfolk area.
Hey, I'll do it. I'm apparently driving there next weekend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Derek, you need to go to the Never Tell tour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You need to do that.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
I'm gonna make a note of that. I'm gonna forget again.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about this Windwalkers EP. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I did pull up my stats, and my 2 most played songs of the month are Funeral Balloons and Hereditary.
Valid.
Sounds about right.